The Storyteller's Take.
Sanibonani lapha emakhaya, igama lami uSabelo Msithini and today ngilana community art theatre yase MOLELEKWA TEMBISA. I'm here with Mxolisi Masilela.
Sure, Mxolisi
Masilela bafethu, and just ngizombuza my question about the TX theatre. That's what we're here for today. So please introduce yourself, who you are and what do you do, and yeah, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. I'm Mxolisi Masilela the Great. I'm the founder and the artistic director of the TX Theatre, which we founded in 2014. We celebrated our 10 years in 2024.
Okay. Sure. That's dope. What inspired you to actually do like the TX Theatre and all of it? Like, where did it stem from?
I mean, I grew up, it's always difficult for me to answer this question about theatre and all of that, because when I was 9 years old, you see just opposite where they are building now. Yeah, it was just an open soccer field. So at the age of 9, so my mom was renting a room this street, so we'd come here to play soccer, and during soccer breaks, the only place we'd drink water is this center, and then I came to this center to drink water. And when I came to the center to drink water, I walked in here because Then when I walked in the same hall where we converted into a theater today, there was a community festival, a theater festival, and I walked in and it was 150 a ticket, and I had like 3 rand, by ice na Moscopas, and I bought that ticket for 150, and what I saw was the back, it's like this is what I want to do, and I'm 9 years old. I don't want to watch it, but this is what I want to do as they do it. And then I joined a community group the other street at the age of 9 called Rutanang Community Theatre Project, which is the best organization that has created, if not all organizations of theatre in Tembisa. And then I grew in that. I got my training under La Kichafela. And when I was 13, I was introduced to the market lab showcases, and I'd go to the market and train every weekend with other young artists and older artists, But at the age of 13, 14, 15, me growing around the market theatre and the market theatre laboratory, there was something about me wanting to do this thing, not to come to it,
Yeah, to do it, Instead of just watching it, experience.
And also, it's only few of us, it's 3 or 4 of us who could go to the market theatre and watch theatre. And also, when I was 10 years old, I began to go to the National Arts Festival, Nopralaki, with Rutana. So also, when you're in the National Arts Festival, you begin to see these things, around you, that are theatre and that are independent and that are makeshift. And I said, no, man, we can do this thing, know. And when I was 18, when I started the TX Theatre as a performance organization, I wanted to have a performance space. I wanted to create a performance space. And 2014, 2013, 2012, 2013, 2014, we began the conversation about how do we create a theater. And then it began like that.
All right, dope. What are some of the challenges and obstacles you faced, like in terms of organizing everything, in terms of like this whole process that you've been going through over these years, and like how did you overcome those obstacles, and does it get any easier once you've overcome those obstacles?
No, it doesn't get easier. It's just being resilient, It's just being persistent about what you want to do. And challenges are there. You succeed today, tomorrow there's a new challenge. And also, you saw even inside the theater, when we started, we did not have theater lights. We had plastic bags on the windows with those domestic bulbs that we bought for 10 rand. In the middle of the show, they will burst and the other side will be black, So, but over the years, we've managed to create and buy equipment that are worth around 5.5 million now, which are automated, which is good stuff to do theater, which is very expensive to establish a theater. And also funding. Funding does not fund theater spaces. They fund programs and projects in theater spaces, and you just need to have a clear mindset around finances and how do you find ways to build and do that. And also the equipment, you rent it out for a fee, it buys and maintains the theater. So those are still bigger challenges, And also we are an alternative space we function in a space where theater producers are independent. They don't have money to produce these works, you know. And then we've created a co-producing program where the production takes 60% of what they are making, we take 40% of what they are making, so we collaborate with the space and they bring the production, and that's how the production makes money, and that's how the theater makes money. But with the festival it's different. I think is 20% for the festival and then 80% for the production. So yeah, those are the challenges, but we overcome them as we go. And the bigger thing to overcome all these challenges is we partner with the South African State Theatre, we partner with the market, we partner with different organizations, we partner with the Kuruleni, we partner with Gauteng Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, we partner with the Department of Arts and Culture South Africa, we partner with Georgetown University and in Washington DC, we partner with Exodus Youth Works in Australia. So there are different partners and relationships and collaborative processes that we go through, and we find ways to succeed. So I cannot say we've overcome everything. We just survived 10 years, so we're trying to survive another 10 years.
But that's very good. And then I want to ask, in those 10 years, can you count, like, or can you recall how many shows you've ever had, and which one was your favorite? Like, which one was that, like, the one that went, okay, we should keep on doing it like this, or this is what the people want to see, or this is the way I feel like my vision would be portrayed to the world? Do you have a favorite in all those 10 years, all the performances, all the places you've actually performed at?
It's hard. It's like choosing your children. Says this one is better than this one. But what I can say is we try to stage not less than 50 productions a year. Okay. So that's what we are gunning and aiming to do each and every year. Well, we failed during COVID because we had an online theater spaces where I think we had about 20 or 21 productions that we were able to stream and stage that year. Also, the second year we had around 31 productions. But beyond COVID and pre-COVID, we've been trying minimum as 50 shows in a year.
And how many locations, like, normally does that go for?
Well, it depends, because also this festival that is currently on, the TEMBISA Theatre Week, has created amazing productions since its inception. There's a production called The Tragedy of Samuel Omunye, which was recently staged at the South African State Theatre, full season, you know, and then it came from the TEMBISA Theatre Week. It was staged at the Market Theatre. It came from the TEMBISA Theatre Week. We had another amazing production called Stivovo the Puppeteer, which it was firstly created for the TEMBISA Theatre Week at the TX Theatre, and it went on to create high quality and high and won different awards across the theatre sector. And recently they've won an award at the National Arts Festival in Grahamstown, and now they're going to the National South African State Theatre to present the same work. We have These Are Not My Shoes that I've written, directed and produced, which it was written specifically for the Theatre Week, and it lived beyond the borders of South Africa. We are recently doing a work called Uncharted, which will be launching the anthology on Saturday as part of the published play now, because it was only written for the TEMBISA Theatre Week. So there are many, maybe I'm forgetting others, but there are many great stories because TEMBISA Theatre Week is celebrating 9 years and TX just celebrated 10 years. So this is our 11th year. We actually celebrated our 11th year on the 5th of February this year. So TEMBISA Theatre Week is celebrating 9 years this year, and then we're celebrating 10 years next year. So there are many amazing production that we've created, and they've came out of this place and they became national and mainstream productions. And just from a concept in a space of let's try it out.
Let's see where we can end up. Let's see where we can go. Okay, then I want to know, like, let's say there's a young thespian out there or a young theater practitioner that actually wants to get into the space, like Moses Moleko. Like, what process do they have to go to? Who do they approach? How do they do that?
You see, with the TX Theatre, because Moses Moleko is a center that hosts different organizations, you know. With the TX Theatre, my ideology and methodology around the TX Theatre is creating a space to allow someone to fail and fail until they get it right. So it's embedded in a space of laboratory. How do we discover things, you know? If you're interested to go through a process, we always welcome people to go through that process with us. So we have that space, and we also have productions that we stage, which are mainstream and funded, which those we will go through auditions if we do not have in-house artists that would fit or suit the roles that we are doing. And also, we are not only theater performance-based organization. We're slowly introducing contemporary dance in the theater, and we also design sets, we design lights, we do all the behind the scenes around theater. So if you are willing to go through, because TX Theatre is a space of laboratory. You're coming here to train and discover something, and then you go. I mean, we have Josias Mashiane, who's also part of the guys I founded the TX Theatre with. He lives between America and Europe. He started his lighting here, so he's now designing for Disney cruise ship. He's a head designer for that. We had Biggie Mosehla, who designed big productions in Cape Town, big productions in South African State Theatre. We recently had Season Dabana, who just got a bigger opportunity, but he went through this training, and now the person who's designing for the theatre and the festival is a female. Her name is Maine, and soon she's ready now to leave.
Yeah, she's gonna go.
She can't stay here. She needs to go to the world. So that's what TX Theatre is. So somebody else must come.
And it's also all about producing success stories.
Yeah, that's it. That's
very dope.
It's like being the Mr. Miyagis of the industry, you know, how to do that. So for me, that's my great success. If somebody succeed, it's also there's a young boy that I met him when he was 12 years old. So there are two boys. I'll start talk about this one that I'm currently working with. His name is Twarelo Ntate Silolo. I met him when he was 12 years old and was on stage, and this boy is like so amazing. He was under an organization called Sello Sotlo, and I'm saying to the director, Doc, you should not make this boy dance. I just need to work with him, you know, to act with this, just create work for this young boy and then raise him. So the director says, no. But after 2-3 years, we found an agreement to work with him. And I started working with him when he was 15 years old, and he just completed his diploma in TUT, and he has done many productions with me. He's been nominated for Best Actors Awards at the Naledi Awards, which was just an idea that, hey,
an idea. What if he does this? What could happen out of this?
That's what TX Theatre is. And we are currently working in an international production together. We recently came back from London. And the production is called Higher. I'm directing, is acting in it, you know. So there's that man.
It's very dope. Like, you're inspiring me actually right now. I'm getting inspired because I'm also an actor, right? But more TV actor. But then I feel like theatre is actually where raw acting is.
It's training.
You need to learn theatre. You need to be one. Like inside, you need to be in that mind space basically to actually fully like act. You understand? So I also actually plan to also come here one day and actually do the most, right?
Yeah. And somebody told me that there is nothing that is called TV acting. Acting is acting.
Acting is acting.
Acting is acting. And once you begin to understand acting as acting, then you just act. You're just a tool that tells stories. So that's what we do. And beyond that, my friend, is finding an ideal world that we dreamt of when we were kids. You know, if it doesn't exist, we build it. You know, so that's how we survive, and that's how we'll survive the next 10 years.
Shout out.
And also, man, you know, I read a lot of books. When I was in grade 12, I was unable to speak English. I couldn't express myself in English. And I knew that I don't have time to go to university because there's something that I want to chase. And how I learned and gathered information and knowledge was I'm gonna read everything that is written in English so that I learn the language.
That's actually a proper way to actually learn it. And
that's it. And I've learned English. I've done written plays, produced plays from my self-taught knowledge. You know, and well, I would never discredit that. I spent a year with Windebrow Theatre training, and also my years
by Hillbrow.
Yes.
I was actually also there.
I did my training there, and then did also placement at the Windebrow Theatre. in 2011, and I got an opportunity to go to Australia, National Institution of Dramatic Arts, NIDA, in Sydney. I spent like the 2018 there, but the course was around 12 weeks,
12 weeks.
which it was a dramatic arts course.
Okay, I want to know, sorry to cut you off, like you going out there and experiencing it and everything, like how is it different experiencing theater overseas, like as compared to South Africa, and how was it for you, like the experience? Was it better, or you actually think local is more like it, or how is it?
There's no place like home, dog. But there are things that we don't have, you know.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I'm part of a fellow that is funded by the Dutch. It's called ISPA. I'm an ISPA fellow for the next 3 years. Started this year in New York, and also in my gatherings and this traveling, I realized one thing. Generally, artists across the world, a minimum qualification, they have a degree, you know. So there's a value around education, and there's a certain way of building systems around them being educated. Well, I'm an undergraduate. I went to institution and trained, but well, I'm an undergraduate. But what I've been observing is these different organizations have people who valued education to a certain point, and they create and from that space, and majority of us, we don't have. We understand that Europe and South Africa is like different spaces.
Like different spaces.
Also the economics do not make sense. They can fund you if you are going to discover the next AI tool, but funding you to go study drama is another thing, you know. So funding for the arts is also you know, and also the payment system and how they pay you international versus how they pay you home, there's a huge difference, you know. The market cap is higher international and lower at home. But when it comes to producing and creating work, I see South Africa. TEMBISA,
I feel like we actually have like talent in here. We have so much talent, and the talented ones, they never actually get the chance to expose that talent. But many actors, even here in the hood, personal opinion, guys, don't what. Like, I feel like they are better than most mainstream actors. I've seen people deserving Oscars in the hood. But
also it's not a personal opinion, it's a fact.
It's a fact.
You know?
It's a fact.
We have Matthew Rantoma, who went all the way to nominated for the SAFTAs. We have Stelo, who won the Royal Soapy Award.
I understand.
In fact, you can go to jazz events, you'd find an artist or an instrumentalist who's from TEMBISA. You could go to, I'm publishing the second anthology. We are the only independent theater that survived 10 years, producing 50 plays in a year.
Imagine.
You know, we have Augusta Paul. They're on. If you watch TV, they're in everything that you watch. So it's not an opinion, you know.
It's a fact.
It's a fact. And also, we have those things. So, Shout out to
TEMBISA, guys. Shout out to TEMBISA. Okay, I also wanted to ask, besides having a personal link to this place, why do always come back to TEMBISA as theater? Like, what other link that brings you here than you being maybe like seeing it the way it was or where it started from and all of that? Like,
there's a thing about home. There's a thing about the car, dog. There's a thing about even if you travel, you go wherever.
That's always versatile also,
TEMBISA is versatile. Even after a long day, you want to go home. You want to go to your bed where you feel safe, comfortable. So TEMBISA for me is home, you know. I'm in a production that I was rehearsing in London in December, and I'm going to rehearse in UCLA, California, and now in April and premiere that work in America, which I'm working with 6 South African actors and 6 American actors. So it's a collaboration between America and South Africa, looking at the parallels between the civil rights movement in 1964 and the fall of apartheid in 1994. But it's a great story. You know? I'm part of a collective that is in Washington DC called the Woodshed Collective, which is me and Dr. Refilwe Lepere from South Africa and other artists across the world. We meet there twice a year in America, but there is a joy about going home. So for me, it's building a home, not only for me, but for anyone who's from TEMBISA.
That is very true.
We can be everything and anything but we come home, you know, to work home, to produce home, to give home, to eat at home, you know. It's nice to eat out, but when you eat at home,
it's different.
It's a different meal.
Something about a home cooked meal.
The aroma there, you know. And also we have like amazing people that have made TX Theatre their home. An amazing board member of the TX Theatre, Dr. Refilo Lepere, who's an amazing academia who we published this play with. She'll be doing a speech tomorrow. She's part of the TX Theatre, and she speaks about something amazing around remembering, you know, remembering yourself, putting parts of yourself that you have lost over time, and that TX is there. It gives us an opportunity to remember who we are. Parts of us that we lose when we travel, when we leave home, you know, is TX is there.
TX is there.
You know, that's why we call it TX Theatre for the people. It's not for us, but it's for everyone, you know.
Get you.
That's that.
That is very dope. Okay, I want you, like, in one word, describe what, one sentence basically. What is the goal of TX Theatre? What does it want to achieve? But in one sentence.
Hey man, there are many sentences. See, when you're an author, you begin to think of many things. But like I'm saying, TX Theatre, the vision is to create a laboratory that can produce great industry plays.
Yeah, that's just the one.
That's it.
Then any more shows that you're gonna be doing this year, or where to next?
We are doing the TEMBISA Theatre Week, which is starting on the 21st of February, which is tomorrow, Friday, 21st February, until the 2nd of March, which we are staging 32 new productions. So we have 32 productions from Friday till the 2nd of March. A day we have about 9 performances, and on Saturday we have the launch of the anthology, which these are new 5 plays that are written by South Africans and published by us. So Zwagala, the launch is at 12. We'll be chilling here, signing books and all of that.
Full group, guys.
And that's what we'll be doing. The anthology is called Gathering of Stories. It's published by the TX Theatre and the Writers Lab. So it will be here, and we'll be talking about the book and also staging that. I'm staging my new play tomorrow. But I'm just showing snippets of it. I'm showing about 12 minutes of the play, which is titled Behind Van Vieren's Farm. It's inspired by a play written by Vice Menachem Matabi, which is called The Red on the Rainbow. So I'm continuing the conversation and drawing from that play as an inspiration. So that's what will be happening. And after that, I'm off to the US to continue with the play I was talking about.
Oh, right. Shout out. I respect that very much. And thank you very much for doing this for me. Those are all the questions I actually have for today. But just before we close it off, I want you to give a word of the day, or just some words of wisdom to anyone at thespian, anyone wanting to join, anyone wanting to do what you do, or even more inside the industry. Like, what does it take? Or like, okay, let me not even say it for you. Let me just let you say the word of the day.
For me, and also using me as an example, perseverance. Perseverance. And when you persevere, you can and see it through. You become something, you know. And the idea of changing the world, it sounds like a big thing. We change our corners. I mean, we have brought the world to TEMBISA. We've produced works here through perseverance.
That's very dope. So, determination, that discipline.
And show up.
Thank you very much for doing that for me. Guys, this is Sabra from the Storytellers Take, and we out.
The Storytellers Take.